Howdy folks, welcome to the brewery. Extractaganza number 18. And this version, this month, this brew, we're doing a Pacific Ale along the lines of the old Stone and Wood. This is following on the heels a little bit of the hazy pale we did in the last video, but similar, but still different. Obviously different base and a little bit of different procedure. This is going to be quite a simple brew. So starting off with Morgan's Pacific Ale 10. And to that we're going to add 1 kilo of dry wheat malt. And that's about it. And some hops. You can't have a Pacific Ale, particularly a Stone and Wood driven Pacific Ale, in the sense that everyone knows that sort of brew, without a whack of Galaxy hops. There's 50 grams, which I've removed from a freshly cracked bag that I've got here from old mate Mr. Bristol at the Hopping Mechanism. Beautiful, lovely smelling hops. Fresh as Galaxy can get at this point in time. So what I've got here in front of me, but you can just see, and I'll pull him in a little bit closer, because this is now for the next little bit the star of the show. I've got in the pot here about 3.5 litres of water. Now you'll notice that I'm not in the kitchen. Why? Because I don't need to boil anything. Yeah, technically. Yeah, I just want to make things a little bit easier. I'm out in the garage. Really couldn't have been bothered dragging all the stuff inside. So I've made a slight change to the recipe. The original plan was to get about 3.5 litres of water up to a boil. Throw about 25-30 grams of Galaxy in. Let it boil for just a couple of minutes, then drop the heat, and then drop another 25 grams in, and basically do like a whirlpool hop steep. And I decided I didn't want to go in, couldn't be going inside, but I wasn't really going to get the boil thing happening. So instead of that, I'm just going for a straight 50 gram steep addition. So got 3.5 litres of water in there. Now that water has been boiled and put into the pot, so it's off a boil at the moment, but as long as it's above 80 degrees, as we all know, we're going to get hop utilisation, so that's quite good for what we're doing. I've got myself a nice actual new hop bag. It's technically one of those bloody veggie bags you get from the supermarket. Again, because I'm not going to boil this, I want this to be as sanitary as possible, clean. So, but again, keeping that 80, it's going to kill any bugs. I'm going to drop that in there, give him a little bit of a stir just to get things started, without going too crazy, because that bag's not really securely tied up. And it's done. I'm going to start a timer. And I'm going to let this sit for about 15 minutes. While that's happening, I'm going to get the tin into some hot water, getting it soaking, getting this liquid nice and easy to work with. I'll get me fermenter out, make sure she's sanitised, and get some water in it, and I'll be back in a minute. Oh, actually back in a matter of seconds, when this is finished steeping. We'll put this together. This will go better with a little bit of malt in the hot mix here. So, the bloody new bag. It's convenient. I bought 3 kilos of the dry wheat malt from Cheeky Peak, and they sent it in 3 individual 1 kilo bags. So it makes life real easy when you want to use a kilo in a brew. But for now, I just want to throw maybe 200 to 300 grams in there, just to get some malt in there, because that does help a little bit with the hop extraction. There we go. Hops in. It's like we didn't forget to do a step. See, said. Rightio. Steep is done. You get these hops out. And we've got a whack of grunge in here, but that's fine. So to here I'll add our dry wheat. Give it a good mix. So this will help aerate as we go. Smells good. Well, when doesn't Galaxy smell good? Alright, let's get our tin in. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Open your tins upside down. Don't know why, it just works better. But don't stuff around with bloody fancy $1 million fucking can openers. Wiltshire Butterfly can opener. About $6 from Big W. Or somewhere similar to that. Best can opener you're going to get. You won't do better. Never ever had a problem. Every person I see using them fucking fancy can openers has problems. Put that in there. And we'll get out as much as we can. You could rinse this out if you want to, but I haven't got any real amount of water ready to do that, so I'll just get out what I can. All good. That's her. Mix him in. Now I've got, at the moment, around 15 litres of water in the fermenter. In this occasion it's the Snub Nose Apollo from Keg King. Ferment whatever you bloody want to. Whatever you got, did you use? We'll be fine. Righto. That's good. We get that in without making too much mess if we can, especially when I've got the laptop sitting just behind the fermenter. There's a little bit. I can deal with that. It's not bloody splashing here, there and every bloody where. No. So that's all good. So pressure sitting around 30. She's a little bit warm just at the moment. So I'm going to give this a good bit of a decent stir. It's fairly aerated already from the tap water and pouring in, and I gave it a mix before I actually added this extra in. We're at somewhere between 19 and 20 litres, so I will top this up to 23 let the temperature drop a little bit and I'll get a sample and we'll have a look at what we finish up at. Righto, we've cooled down, heading down about 26. I don't muck around with it any bloody longer. Get the yeast in and we'll get it into the fridge. So, yeast, I've got 2 packets of 05 and they're just going in dry. No mucking around. I've just taken a refract sample which was 1042. Which is probably a little higher than what I was looking for. I calculated 1039 on the spreadsheet, which was going to get a ABV of about 4.1 in the bottle. Actually, I might put another litre. I'm going to put another litre of water in this before I stick it in the fridge, because that should get me a... Well, let's just work it out quickly. Should get closest to what we want. Okay, yeah, so it's telling me 1.5 litres will get me down to 1039, so okay, 1 litre's going to get me to 1040, so I'll go with that. Calculator's telling me I'm going to get down to about 1008, which will be 32 points, so that's going to get me close enough to 4.2%, which is bang on where Stone and Wood Pacific Ale is 4.2, so that's more the target, so that's fine. I was literally just bringing that up, bringing the body up a little bit, but no, let's go with proper volumes. So I'll do that, get this in the fridge, 18 degrees. I will run maybe 4 or 5 psi on this. No, I'm going to run full pressure. So I'll run it up around 15 psi because I want to bottle that 4.2%. I don't want to have to bottle carb. So yeah, 18 degrees, 15 psi. I reckon we're probably going to take 10 days, or probably let's say 7 days. At 18, we'll ramp it for a couple of days. Cold crash a couple of days, 2 weeks. Bob's your uncle. Beer is done. Then we can be drinking a couple of weeks after that. So I will see you shortly for tasting. Righto. Tasting time on this fella. Let me just get the notes. We are on Extractaganza number 18. Stone and Wood Pacific Ale type of clone. We started with the Morgan's Pacific Ale tin, kilo of dry wheat malt. We steeped 50 grams of Galaxy, and we added 50 grams of Galaxy into the dry hop on day 7. Fermented 2 packs of US 05, just pitched dry at 18 degrees. That was allowed to rise up to 15 psi, and I held it there for the ferment. Original gravity was 1039, final gravity 1010. I bottled straight from the fermenter, adding 1 carb drop per the 750ml PET bottles, 740ml, whatever they bloody are. I don't even know what fucking size these are. Yeah, 740ml. I knew they weren't 750. But anyway, so I put the extra carb drop in just to try and make sure we got some good carb. This was bottled 30th of November, today's the 16th of December, so it's 2.5 weeks. Not as long as I would like, but with Christmas getting close, we'll try and get this taster done, so we had something to share between ourselves over the Christmas sort of break. But anyway, let's get a pour on this fella. Oh, she's reasonably carved. It didn't seem to have that much gas in the bottle, but she's pouring all right. So we've got a ABV right here, approximately 4.1%. So 1039 to 1010 29, 3.8, yeah, 0.2 to 0.3% for the carb drop, because it was only half the normal carb drop. So yeah, so about 4.1%, which is around the mark of a, you know, most Pacific ales. They sort of sit in that sort of 4.2% sort of a range. Now it's got a nice nose, nice tropic notes coming from the hop, from the Galaxy, giving us you know, obviously it's main passion fruit, but it does throw a little bit of mango, a bit of pineapple, a bit of citrusy notes, you know, on the edges. But yeah, that smells quite nice. I've not got me light. Let me get me light on here. Maybe you can see me. Alright, can you see me now? Is that better? Fucking little John, fucking clown. Anyway, there you go. That's going to be a bit easier to see. So, she's golden. Probably a little more golden than I would like for the style, but that's a little hard to dictate. Now, I was a bit concerned about the Morgan's, about this tin, the Pacific Ale, because when you read it and looking at it, it really presents as more an American kind of a beer. It doesn't really give you this vibe of feeling that it's, you know, what we know as a Pacific Ale. There's, yeah, light, summery, you know, fairly wheat heavy kind of an ale. So I was concerned from that point, but I had seen it used as a base of, yeah, or listed as a base for a Pacific Ale. What threw me was the description. They mentioned having a woody character on the tin, which really threw me. I thought, oh, that's a bit of a strange description for a Pacific Ale. But anyway, let's not fucking waffle. Waffles are for breakfast, and it's a long time since breakfast. Okay, I'm getting typical Pacific Ale type of vibe. Yeah, on the initial tasting, I'm getting some light fruits, that, yeah, that, getting that tropically sort of note, the passion fruit. It's not massive passion fruit, but it's there. But there's, yeah, a bit of passion fruit and those tropical notes. Some lightness in the wheat, a little bit of tartness on the edge. It's quite light. Again, their final gravity's 10. It's not particularly, yeah, not a particularly light body beer, but there's a nice spritz in there, which is keeping the mouthfeel light, which helps, yeah, with the body. But it's presenting not too badly. I'm not getting any real negative kit vibe, no kit twang. There's a little bit of a feel there, but it's quite small. It's not really in your face and noticeable. Like it's there, it's underlying everything, but it's coming across almost more like it's just a little bit too malty for the style, as opposed to that sort of twangy sort of kit sort of a flavour. So it's a little hard to say exactly where that's sitting, whether it just simply is the kit's just a little bit too got a little bit too much deep malt flavour for the style, which again, like I said, it's coming across in the colour. It could be 3 or 4 shades lighter, but the flavour is, yeah, it's most of the way there. I think if you drink Stone and Wood, then this isn't really gonna, it's not really gonna excite you. As it is, I think that base kit doesn't quite really work. I think something a little bit lighter sitting under this would work better. Maybe just a straight up draft, or even a blonde. Something with a bit less malt presence, even like a pilsner would probably work. Could probably go a bit more of the wheat, maybe even 1.5 kilos, which would bring up the ABV a little bit, or even just a little bit of dextrose, even 200 or 300 grams of dextrose, just to lighten it a little bit. But again, if you go for that lighter body, that lighter kit to start with, then maybe that's not necessary. The Galaxy, I think, could have been a little bit, could be a little bit more, just to really push that hoppiness a little extra. It's not far from the levels that you're sort of getting from a Stone and Wood. Yeah, and I've had one reasonably recently, which is good, so I've still got that sort of fairly familiar recognition. The overall flavour, it's in the ballpark. Like I said, I think it's just bringing down that underlying malt with just a slightly lighter tin. And maybe just a little bit more Galaxy. I would even sort of suggest maybe another dry hop, earlier dry hop, yeah, sort of like day 3 maybe, with another 50 grams, and then another 50, on day 7, just to give it a little bit more. Wouldn't hurt. Or just simply making that second, or that single edition on day 7, making it 80 to 100 grams. Yeah, the reality is 50 grams is, it's only 2 and a bit grams a litre. So getting it out to, closer to 5, to 4 or 5 grams a litre certainly won't hurt. I think that would work alright. Another thing I would consider, if going on this angle, would be taking this out to say 26 litres, to pull the tin down a little bit, and I said, and increase that wheat to 1.5 kilo, 200 grams of dex, and then bumping up the hops, even 75 grams on both editions, 75 grams steep and a 75 gram dry hop on day 7, I think would really just tweak that beer into a place that's closer to the original style. But the reality is,
That's not a bad drop. Morgan's tend to be delivering reasonable cans. Most of the cans are coming up reasonable. I still don't think they've got the overall quality of say what the Black Rock has, or but they're certainly standing up as one of the better kits. So these last 4 or 5 brews are really showing that spending a little bit extra money on good tins, or getting them posted in, having to pay postage if you need to get them because you can't get them locally, it's worth the dollars over just buying Coopers off the shelf, because that's what you can get locally. You're getting a better beer, and this is a simple beer. It's only dry malt, a steep and a dry hop. There's nothing elaborate, there's no grains, there's no playing around with mashing or anything like that. It's all pretty easy. And it's getting you decent, a half decent beer. So anyway folks, that's Extractaganza number 18, Stone and Wood Pacific Type Ale. That's it. Would I brew it again as it is? Not as it is, but with some changes. And I know I've given you a whole bunch of different things there that you could change. But that's brewing. Take what you can from what I've described the beer and adjust it how you think it would. Or brew it like that and then make your own changes around it. Choice is yours. It's the beauty of home brew. I'm not coming to your place with my beer forcing you to drink it. You brew it, see how you go. But anyway, that's me. I'm done for now. So next Extractaganza is Mangrove Jack's hard seltzer kit. I think it's a lemon and lime kit. I'll be doing a little bit of playing with that because that's what we do. But other than that, I'm out of here. So till I see you again, brewing beer, drinking beer, talking beer, good brewing.